we're here with another episode of Conversations and Connections. Again, we're the official podcast for the Family Crisis Center of East Texas. I'm Stuart Burson, the Prevention Coordinator for the agency. And today we are talking with Jannifer Fulbright, and we're here at Hackney Primary at the Lufkin ISD to talk about SHAC. And probably most of everyone's probably wondering, well, what in the world is SHAC? Well, we're here to answer that question and tell you about the importance of SHAC and exactly what it does. So, Jannifer, first of all, thank you for agreeing to do this. So I guess, first of all, tell us what is, okay, now SHAC is an acronym for Student Health Advisory Council. What is the purpose? What is that exactly?
So originally that started with Senate Bill 1 like in 1995 or so, and the legislature decided that there needed to be a connection between schools, community, and health for students and staff. Okay. So they mandated that we have, every school district have a SHAC council, or sometimes known as SHAC committee, made up of parents, community members, sometimes district members like teachers, admin staff, and students. Mm-hmm. So they go forth to make sure that things that are done so that the health of the students and staff are kept in the foremost in our minds, so that those education things, those pieces, like, for instance, those health pieces for curriculum for like high school, for middle school, as well as the sexual education piece that goes into high school and middle school, that those things are all put in place, and there's an advisory council to look over that annually.
Okay. So, well, you kind of answered my next question. I was going to ask you how long the SHACs have been around. You said this was the result of a Senate bill back in
1995.
In 95, right?
So it was the early 2000s that you started to really see the groups come together. And as time would go on, you would see the groups develop differently in different aspects with different districts.
Okay. So are all school districts in Texas required to have a SHAC in place?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Okay. So you kind of touched on this. I kind of want to go back and maybe go a little deeper. The Student Health Advisory Council. So this is a council where things in the curriculum are going to be discussed. I guess all going to be in some round or about way health related. Right.
Correct.
Okay. So what would that entail? You talk about sex education.
Right. Or the health classes, even nutrition.
Okay.
You may even hear the term sometimes coordinated school health. So that means that all the pieces come together. So that may include not just the curriculum for health, not just the curriculum for sexual education, but nutrition, safety, which would entail our police department, PE and physical education, which would, be our athletic department, our PE departments, and all of those things come together to make up things that the SHAC committee would actually look at.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, there were some questions, and probably more than a couple of years ago, I'm pretty old now, but there were some questions on the time or the amount of time students received with physical education, or just time to have what we call in elementary primary world, time to go out for recess. Mm-hmm. So that came up and that was discussed. That was something that we wanted to bring before the council or the committee so that we could review what Lufkin ISD's view was of that. And so the whole idea also is so that we have members from the community, members from our district, members from, say, ADAC. They have been with us for a long time, so that, and even some of our pastors have been members and have come, so that SHAC and the school district reflects what the community values are.
Okay.
That's real important. That's real important that we all come together so that we let them know what's going on in the school district.
So what goes on in a typical, first of all, how often does the SHAC meet?
We're asked to meet 4 times a year. Sometimes we have more meetings if we have something coming up. Most of the time it's 4, maybe 5. So we meet at least 4 times a year.
And what goes on at a typical meeting, or is there a particular structure
Well,
in place?
I would say yes, there is. So normally what we like to do, if there's not something that we're reviewing, that we have a subcommittee meeting on, we like to invite someone from the community to have a community spotlight to share with the committee. So we know what's going on in the community, as well as them sharing with us, and we share with them what's going on in the school district. So we'll have somebody from the community come present, and normally somebody from the district come and present also.
Okay. So the SHAC committee, you talk about these things, and let's say, hey, we want, and I'm just going to just throw an example out there, a certain topic discussed in sex education.
Okay.
How do you move forward with that for an idea or a desire from the SHAC committee to it being implemented in the schools?
Okay, so
I know it's not like, hey, we want this and it happens.
Because it's an advisory committee.
Right.
That would go forth to the executive director. Then from the executive director, it would go to the assistant superintendent or the deputy superintendent and to the superintendent to be discussed. And then from there, if need be, a presentation to the school board. And that's where it all comes together. If it gets to that point, it has to go to the school board.
And that's something I guess we want to make sure that people do know, that A in SHAC is advisory. It doesn't mean like, hey, we're going to dictate what happens.
Right.
But it is neat to see that that the school districts are getting input from people in the community to have a say of what goes on. And so I think that's really cool. So who you're talking about community members being a part of the SHAC committee. Who is eligible to be a part of this in the SHAC, or who can take part in the SHAC?
Well, we have a process, and we ask whether it's staff, parents, or community members to fill out an application.
Okay.
And so I would like to say mostly all community members, even professional members of the community can take part in SHAC. And like we said, parents and students, we really like to have the student input. We have not had any students from middle school, but we usually get our students from high school that come and they participate.
Okay.
I have to admit that after COVID or during COVID, it presented a struggle for us. And so we have, I'm glad that we have this opportunity to put that out there, that we are here and we are open to accepting people to come on board and be a part of SHAC.
Do you have people, has it been, or is it a challenge to get community members involved, or to let the community become aware, hey, we have this committee, we would love to have you be a part of it?
I will honestly, sometimes that is a challenge.
Right.
Being honest, sometimes it is. We normally meet at lunch hour, 11:30, 12, in hopes of getting people on their lunch break. We have met on Zoom before. Of course, that was popular last year.
Yeah.
And I really thought last year when we met on Zoom that possibly we would gain more members. And oddly enough, we probably stayed about the same.
Yeah.
We stayed about the same. I think people had a lot going on. So I'm proud that we are meeting again, actually spread out, but meeting face to face. And hopefully, like I said, by this we can get the word out and continue to gain members.
Well, and I know there's probably an advantage of having the Zoom meetings. I know they have their purpose, and there was a need to have meetings via Zoom. But there's something to be said about meeting in person and having that face-to-face communication, even in the work that I do in prevention. When I go do presentations, I think it's easier to get people to interact with you when you're in person than when you're on a Zoom call and getting people to really give their input, I think.
Yeah, there is. You're correct.
Right. So if someone wants to be a part, I mean, are you constantly taking applications or?
Honestly, we really set forth. Miss Leslie Brimage helped set forth a campaign to ask the principals to submit some names of parents and ask community members to come aboard and complete an application, probably in early August, late July, early August. And we still received applications, I think even last month.
Okay.
So I would not say the application process is closed, but there is a bigger push, when we start
Right.
school, when the school year starts.
Well, and I guess one of the reasons I was asking if you want to give out that information, if someone wants to be a part of the SHAC community, you're more than welcome to let me know. If not, we can save it for another time.
No, that's by all means.
Yeah.
They can email me at jfulbright@lufkinisd.org, or they can call at 936-633-7264.
Okay.
So they can email myself or even Leslie Brimage over at DEC, but they can email us or call us, and we will get them connected with an application.
Okay.
And by all means, invite them to our next meeting.
All right. So I'm actually taking the podcast on the road today. Again, like I said at the top of the show, we're at Hackney Primary and kind of meeting Ms. Fulbright on her turf. I'm just curious to know, why are we here? What do you do here at Hackney?
So I am SHAC coordinator for Lufkin ISD, but I am also the health services director for Lufkin ISD and the school nurse for Hackney Primary Pre-K, which is a joy. Lots of hats, but I have lots of help. So I'm really proud of our health services department and our SHAC community also.
Okay. So just real quick, I always like, especially when I have someone from outside of our agency on the program, just kind of get to know the guest a little bit. Just real quick, are you a Lufkin native? Are you from here?
I graduated from Lufkin High School. I won't state the year, but a long time ago. Left Lufkin and went to University of Texas in Arlington, and then came back here and raised a family. So I've been here a while.
Did you always have? Well, you said the school nurse. I'm assuming you're a healthcare professional.
Right, I'm a registered nurse.
Did you ever, when you decided upon that career, did you ever think that you would be working in the school system, or did you want to work in the school system, or this just kind of, did it just happen this way?
I think probably a little bit of divine intervention, but I remember in my senior book long years ago, we had an opportunity to follow someone, and I chose to follow a young lady that was working with a local pediatrician, and I had never met a nurse practitioner before, especially not a pediatric nurse practitioner. And I thought it was really, really interesting, and I wrote in my book, in my memory book, that's what I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be a nurse, but I wanted to be a pediatric nurse practitioner. Well, I am not licensed as a nurse practitioner, but I do think that I kind of met that goal in relations to pediatrics with the school. And so it kind of came about probably after being in the clinical setting several years, and then having a family and realizing there was a need to have a better schedule with kids. But I've been here a long time. This is like my 25th year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
So lots of years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jannifer, thank you so much, and I hope we are raising awareness about the importance of the SHAC committees and again and the role that they play. And I think it's important to let the community know and parents know. You may hear people think, well, I don't have a say in what my child learns in school. Well, this is your opportunity to hopefully have a say and have an input on what your child learns at school. So again, if you're interested, you can email Ms. Fulbright, and that's J Fulbright, and is that one L or two L's?
It's one.
Okay, so it's JFulbright at lufkinisd.org.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Jannifer.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And if you have any more questions, you can email us at conversationsandconnections@fccet.com. And as always, if you feel like you need our services for anything, if you need the services for the Family Crisis Center, we do have a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week hotline. That number is 1-800-828-7233. And be sure to subscribe to Conversations and Connections. You can do that via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or really the podcast service of your choice. And remember, as always, be the voice, if not for you, for someone else.